Hi, I can't believe this is the last week of our class. Again, I am Teresa Shecker, and we are talking about the size and scale of government this week. And there were two visions of political order that we talked about all through these 8 weeks. And one was the idea that government should remain small, keeping to the vision that people were naturally good, naturally made associations with one another to form governments. The idea that we just do this naturally because we're naturally good people and we want to associate with other good people. And this was a vision, I believe, that was shared by Aristotle, Althusius, and Hume. If you really look at all of their core beliefs, they, I believe, in my opinion, believed that we just eventually would do this. We would eventually come to a belief that we all would get together eventually and form a government. Although they had different ideas on the grand scale of how large government should be. So Aristotle thought that it should be a little smaller. Althusius believed it should be about medium size, and Hume thought just a little bit bigger. So they all had a different idea of kind of the size, right? But then when you get to Hobbesian government, Hobbes believed that government should exist to keep us all from falling into anarchy. He believes without government, without us basically having like bigger brother to watch over us, we're all going to fall into just straight political anarchy. Things are going to fall apart, and we're all just going to attack each other eventually, right? And that idea was discussed in more than one video, but it was discussed at length in the video Size and Scale Secession. So the framers brought all of these ideas with them when they were making the new constitution, when they came over from England and began to discuss all these things. So there were all of these different ideas running through all the different framers' heads. So there was the Hobbesian idea of government, the one from Aristotle, the one from Althusius, the one from Hume. So Thomas Jefferson is said to have said, a government big enough to give you everything you want is a government big enough to take it away from you. His actual quote said, a government big enough to give you everything you want is a government big enough to take away everything that you have. And I got that quote from an article written by Regis Nicoll, Has Government Become Too Big, from Crisis Magazine. And that was written in 2017. And in that same article, on the size of government, he found that only 20% of Americans are happy with the state of the country overall. And I think that study is kind of accurate. A Fox News poll, recent Fox News poll, found that people are about the same amount happy right now with our current government, which I find very interesting. Americans are just kind of dissatisfied with the way the government is going. And I don't know if it's because political power has gotten too large, to overstep, too big, for lack of a better word. But I find Jefferson's quote, a government big enough to give you everything you want is a government big enough to take everything that you have, because there's been a lot of recent government handouts, yet government overreach is also quite large at the moment. But there was also a study, according to the Cato Institute, that the optimum size of government in terms of total federal and state spending should be less than 25% of the gross domestic product. That was in that same article. But then I looked up a Data Lab study that said that our current level of spending, just in the federal budget, is 30% or more. So if the optimum size of government is, according to spending, should be less than 25% with federal and state, but our current federal spending level without the state is more than 30%, we got a spending problem, which we already knew, because we're looking at government shutdown, we're looking at all these different things. So yeah, the size and scale even that we're reaching just in spending limits is kind of a little bit terrifying. So, it's a lot to think about when you think about size and scale of our government, with population. And then you go back to what Jefferson said, if they're big enough to give you what you want, they're big enough to take it back from you. It's an interesting quote. So yeah, I'm anxious to see what you guys have to say about it. And yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas, a fantastic and prosperous New Year. And it's been wonderful learning with all of you. Bye.